Hi, I'm Luke Timmerman, the founder and editor of Timmerman Report here at BioEurope Spring in Barcelona. And with me today is Antoine Papiernik. He's a partner with Sofinnova Partners in Paris. Thanks for joining me, Antoine.
Welcome.
So we had a session earlier today where we talked about culture in biotech and some culture change that may be occurring in the entrepreneurial part of the business. Is there one or two aspects of that that you can put your finger on and that you've observed in the last couple of years?
Well, a couple of years is really short for seeing mentalities change, but certainly over the last decade, I think a lot has happened. I think the most important reason for that is that people have seen successes. It's like venturing into something new from a European perspective is not necessarily in our culture. Risks and opportunities, opportunities, that's what, the half full, half empty glass in Europe tends to be half full. But I think over the last decade, for sure, great success stories from others has led many academics, for instance, but also young entrepreneurs to decide, well, that's something I want to do, and then starting to look at the glass half full.
Are you seeing some success begetting success? Like you were an investor in Actelion, and the Closels had a great success there. Do other scientists look at that and say, hey, I could do that too?
Sure. I mean, for a young scientist to relate to a $30 billion dollars acquisition, they just, for them, it's overwhelming. Sure, it's a success. When I invested, there were 4 people. In a sort of a corner office, so it's a huge success. It took 18 years or so, but there are many other success stories since then of companies that were able to really produce fantastic products from fantastic science and then ultimately managed to commercialize it. So sure, Actelion helps tremendously, but many other success stories in Europe behind that are pushing young entrepreneurs to start their companies.
Now, of course, there are also lots of challenges out there with getting anything new started. So what are some of the things that you're doing in particular to address some of the bottlenecks you see? I know we spoke earlier about this tech transfer operation in Italy called BioVelocita. What are you trying to accomplish there?
Well, Italy is an interesting case in itself. I mean, Italy has fantastic world-class science in many different fields, cardiovascular, oncology, of course, but very little realization. And I think because of all the things that we said, culture, experience, just entrepreneurs are able to do it. We happen to be one of the most successful venture guys in Italy because we found these people, Silvano Spinelli, Gabriele Camboni, and a few others, that spun off from Roche, in fact from Boehringer Mannheim at the time, when Roche bought this company, and we generated the first company at the end of the 90s that was very successful. We fund them again in a second company called Ethical Oncology Science. I'm saying this because the rate limiting step in Italy clearly is management, and when you have great management that has made money for investors, you back them again, and that's exactly what we did. So BioVelocita is basically those people who know exactly what to do to take a company from early science to realization, to look for technologies in Italian research institutes and help those people, transform that science into a product. So that's you're going to be seeing us doing more of that in the future.
So to become one of those people with a couple of successful exits, I mean, by definition, that takes time, a long time. And I know a lot of people want to create more of a vibrant biotech ecosystem in different parts of Europe. Often they want to do it, without waiting for 10 years. Is there any particular piece of advice you have to folks, whether in economic development or in government, things that they can do to increase the vibrancy of their cluster?
Well, I think, if you look at France, for instance, the government has been hugely impactful on producing environments that are prone to generating new ideas and new science. A lot of money, we're talking about billions of euros here, have been spent by the French government over the last decade on creating what they call IHU, which are sort of highly focused areas of expertise in a given area, say cardiovascular or oncology, and with each center, as we see, maybe 100 million euros or more to create really this buoyant environment. This is going to take a few more years, but that sort of thing. So we in France tend to always complain. That's just part of the culture. But if you look at the true things, there's amazing things that have been happening that other governments in Europe or in the US, actually think, God, this is really working, and we should sort of duplicate what France in particular or has done. But this is happening in many different countries in Europe.
Smart, strategic, basic research.
Yes, that's the beginning of everything. If you don't have that, then the rest just doesn't happen.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Antoine. Thanks for being here.